stop me if you heard this one before. So God walks into a bar.
I'm gonna stop you.
All right.
Because I heard it last week on last week's episode of Watchmen. I thought you were gonna go, Ben.
No.
Oh,
no.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of God Walks Into ABar.
You grabbed the reins and you just went for it.
I'm Santa Claus grabbing the reins. This is Fake Nerds Watch episode 8. I'm Romano. That's Spark Switty. That's Ben Magnet. We're here to talk about more Watchmen. It's almost over. The clock is ticking, and I'm getting real sad because this show has been the best of the best of the best continuously.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Throughout time, just like Dr. Manhattan, he sees all of time, and he knows at the end of the show is going to be great. So I trust his opinion because he's a real person that I talk to. That's weird. So tell me, guys, what do you think about Mr. Dr. Manhattan's beautiful date with Angela ABar?
And that's a good too.
Okay.
No, it wasn't like when we did Game of Thrones, because I remember when we did Game of Thrones.
It's like meow.
I know I had a lot of
yeah.
This one was just like what you do all the time, chef kiss. Because just every way this show or these episodes have been filmed, edited, shot, we never see when they're in the bar. We never see Dr. Manhattan's face. Mm-hmm. We always see it from Angela's perspective. We only see his mouth or his hands, and everything about this episode, with it being partially a flashback, with it being partially a taking place in the present, just this whole episode was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Minutemen episode is still my personal favorite, but this one, with just this whole Dr. Manhattan, Angela ABar centric episode, is great.
Yeah.
It's just so good. This show has not disappointed me yet.
Yeah, it keeps, unlike Game of Thrones, like this show just keeps going up and up and up, and I'm like, oh my god, how do you do it? I'm really good on you guys.
Oh man,
it's really cool. My favorite episode is still the Looking Glass episode.
Okay.
I think that episode is just all the chef's kiss in the world. Wade is probably my favorite character, and we didn't see any of him in this episode, but he's definitely showing up next episode.
Yeah.
But it's not about Wade. It's about Angela and her boy Jal.
Yeah.
Khan, whatever you want to call him.
Calabar.
This is the episode where he gets his revenge. This episode goes into Dr. Manhattan's mental process and him as a person a lot more than I ever expected anything to.
Yeah.
Because something that the movie does, I think, pretty well, the Zack Snyder movie, I think it does get Dr. Manhattan's detached mentality pretty well. And I do like, we were talking about shifting paradigms and you have to swing one way to go to another. I do like that he started out as a emotionalist, I'm just doing the things in the motions because that's what I am now. I'm a timeless god who can't connect with people. But this episode shows us that he can connect with people. It's just really hard because he sees all of time at once.
Yeah.
He experiences everything at once.
Every time he was talking to Angela when they were in bed, after he changed his form, he's like, we're going to have a fight in a few minutes. She's like, no, we're not. We're not. He's like, you're going to tell me to leave. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in the fight right now. And just the progression is insane.
He's a really tragic character.
He actually is.
And the fact that he continues to go on these romantic escapades knowing they're all going to end anyway, it's really sad and really tragic. And it's especially when you realize he's trying to connect more with his humanity. And you see much later on when he does have a real moment with Angela, where he tells her why, how he loves her and oh, I've always loved you. That is so romantic, but also so sad.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's going to happen to him 10 years from now, 20 years from now. But he still does it because he does believe in love in his own weird way.
He might be a god, but he still has human qualities.
I'm looking for a quote that I found. So one second.
Okay. Yeah, he's still, one of the things about Dr. Manhattan that's always fascinated me that he might be a little gross here and there. Especially if you read the book, but there are times him talking to Angela, it's he really does love this person. He does want to be with her. And just the fact that he's hey, we're going to be together for 10 years, we're going to have 2 beautiful kids, it's going to be awesome, but then it's going to end tragically. He knows it's going to end bad, but he's I'd rather have 10 years of happiness than none without
Exactly, because honestly, isn't that real romance anyway? Most things do end up in tragedy, but you go for them anyway because that's the thrill of life. Yeah. And that's what Dr. Manhattan wants at the end of the day, really. I think he wants to have a real life.
I want to make an argument that it's that's more Angela's perspective, is that I'd rather have the 10 years of this knowing it'll end in tragedy. For John, it's much more when he gets there, he's I know this happens. So I'm just, I'm embracing it. Of course I love you. Yeah. Because I've already seen that I love you.
That's the weird thing.
And that's the
thing
is it's John is in a weird way not in control of it.
No, he's
at the whim.
He's a passenger of his own life.
Yes, he's at the whim of the fact of what has already been decided to happen, preordained, even though it hasn't happened. It has to John.
Yeah.
And so, like, John's whole thing is that, like, it's not like his whole thing is that he seeks out Angela because he already knows he'll be with Angela.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's its own paradox and conundrum.
It's like
John's just there.
Doggy stuff.
Pets, get down here.
Come on down.
So John's just there, and he's not, like, making the choice. I'd rather have this and have it end badly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's almost unconscious. It's almost like nothing he does. Like, I think that's the tragedy in the way the whole episode ends up, is that nothing John does will change how the relationship will unfold across all the time, because he knows every answer, every avenue, and John either can't undo the reality of that being what happens at all times, or believes that he can't, and therefore makes on purpose those realities be the choice that happens.
Regardless if he thinks he can change it or he can't, like, he's living his life like oh, this happens no matter what, so like I either can't.
So here we go.
Yeah, so like here we go. And like especially at the end where you see him get transported, like he stands directly in front of that beam so Angela can't see the final 7th Cavalry member. And it's like this was supposed to happen no matter what, and like he accepts it too, and it's it's such a bummer.
Because there's an argument that could be made that, like, how aware is John that he can break the cycle of his own life or not?
Yeah.
Because the moment that John's at the point towards the end where he goes, oh, chicken or the egg, with regards to what set off this season of content, John could have known that and changed it before, but he also doesn't. Whether or not, like, we'll never have an answer to this. I don't want an answer to this necessarily, but, like, whether or not he is capable or not.
Yeah.
So I think it's far more unfortunate that it's kind of just John trapped in a relationship that's in a sense predestined in him to happen.
Yeah.
It's not something he chooses. It's not something that naturally he just goes, hey, I saw this, and here we are. He comes up to her and he's like, I know we're together.
Yeah.
I know this is a thing. I've seen how this entire thing goes.
Yeah.
With the exception of the time period, which I think is the one thing where John, if theoretically John could have changed everything, he wouldn't, because John had the one opportunity he's had since he became Dr. Manhattan to not know. Which is when he puts the thing in, and then he's like, there's a blank space there, and I'd rather live that blank space because I don't know what it is, and that means I have choice.
And even when he is resurrected, like, he seems a little confused himself. Like, he comes back and he doesn't look like his regular Dr. Manhattan self. He still looks like Cal. Yeah. And she's like, you still look like him. So there's something going on with him internally where, like, maybe whatever was put in his brain did more than was bargained for.
Like, he's trying to catch up and like reorient himself.
Yeah, all at once.
Yeah. Right, because he's been disconnected from this idea of being connected to everything at all times.
Yeah.
And I think that alone points to a reason why John, even if he could have altered the tragedy of this relationship, wouldn't. Because he's like, this is my one branch I've ever had to not know.
Yeah.
There's a good quote that I found, because some people found, and I think these are a lot of people who only saw the movie, right? And they're like, they find that this Dr. Manhattan seems like he cares and he seems like he has emotion. And some people have problems with that, and somebody said in here, but I think that's kind of the point, right? Crudup's Dr. Manhattan tries but doesn't really care, while this Dr. Manhattan cares but is trapped by his own abilities. And I would agree with that, because how do you have a regular relationship when you see your girlfriend right now, 20 years from now, when you're a child, when you're in the future? Like, you have to have somebody like Angela, and even then it doesn't work out, to be like, are you strong enough to be with me?
Well, and there is no answer to the chicken or egg situation of John himself choosing to be with, not choosing, but coming down to be with Angela, because, like, I created life on Mars. This is where he left off in Watchmen. What we knew he was doing. He was gone for a long time. And then, through no power of his own, not really, decides to come back down to Earth and have this relationship with Angela because he's already seen that happens.
Yeah.
But we don't understand, like, why. What causes that shift in John's life for him to do that? We don't get that because John doesn't get that.
It's kind of almost it's not Dr. Manhattan's fault. It's just how he works, but like him and Angela, like it's Angela's fault that all of this happened, and inherently it's Dr. Manhattan's fault,
right?
Because he's having a conversation 2 decades apart at the same time, and that's a crazy scene. She's like
1 decade.
Is it 1 decade? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, 2009 or in 1999.
Yeah, 2009 and 2000.
They have a 10-year relationship.
But she's like, holy shit, did I do this? And I'm like, oh, Angela, you sweetheart. Oh man, what have you done? All the stuff with Dr. Manhattan in this episode is awesome.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So the bar that they're having their first like date at, that's the bar that the comedian shot that girl in.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's very
crazy. That's really funny that that's there.
Before we go too far into the episode, I did want to say, like, I think going back to your point of, like, this being a different Dr. Manhattan than the Dr. Manhattan of whether it's the movie or the comic.
Yeah.
A Dr. Manhattan who, like, was newer to his abilities, newer to his sense of being, and made mistakes. Choices that in this one he even admits, I regret Vietnam. And she's like, can't you go back and... because you're existing across time, can't you change doing it?
No, you can't.
Right, and this is a John who has a more evolved sense of himself and his emotional state of being in regards to the events of the original comic. And so this John then, something, even though we don't understand how or what, does shift inside John to cause him to have this relationship with Angela, even though it is something where what calls him there is the fact that he knows it happens. Something shifts in John that brings him back to Earth from the original Watchmen. This is a different Doctor.
Oh, well, it's because he leaves to go to Europa to create life, and then he realizes that he created people who are servants and not like free will people. And he's like, oh, this sucks. I gotta go back to Earth where like I understand people. And he wants to feel that real connection instead of that.
Also, I love the origin of how we have Crookshanks and Mr. Phillips.
Oh my god, dude! Like his like Eden scene of him like making life on Jupiter is so on the moon of Jupiter is so cool and beautiful.
Or even just him, like the whole explanation
the
of how
backstory.
The backstory of how him and his dad were fleeing Germany.
Oh man,
his mom was like, no, Nazis are cool. His dad's like, oh, F this, and he runs.
And then he sees the two people who live at this manor that are like
like the Lord and Lady of the Manor
that are helping them like escape. Like John,
they're about to bang.
They're about to bang, and John's like he sees them.
Yeah.
And then instead of scolding him, they're like, "We're going to teach you about the birds and the bees."
Yeah.
And it's really sweet. It's about love.
Not only that, but
it's about love.
But who retroactively provides this character motivation of Dr. Manhattan even to the comic itself.
Oh yeah.
Of this person who was given an idea when he was young. Just build something good.
Yeah. Or was it build something beautiful?
I will build.
Yeah. And what John goes throughout the story of the comic is all can be retroactively seen as an attempt to do that before it becomes literally go somewhere else and build something.
Yeah.
Because this is too messed up.
Yeah.
There's a great.
I think we're not going to try and order this.
No, just like this episode, we're going to move around time.
Like this whole episode, as great as it is, it just jumps from point to point.
Much like my favorite issue of Watchmen, which is issue 4, which is the Dr. Manhattan issue, where he's like, I'm in 1985, I'm in 1955.
Oh, you mean where he explains how he became Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah.
Okay.
But in a way, has a through line of John.
Of the date.
So it does make sense.
Yeah.
You don't get too lost, but it definitely, like...
Also,
finagles its way around a lot.
Sorry, Sparks, but also I have to give you credit where credit is due.
Why?
Because you, when the episode started and we saw the title card, and you said, "Hey, there's no space between the A and the B in ABar."
Oh yeah, that's her name.
Like God Walks Into ABar.
Yeah.
Angela ABar.
Dr. Manhattan flirts with a bar. That makes sense, yeah. But I think the structure of the episode is really cute. It is a first meeting of Dr. Manhattan and Angela, and he's just like, yeah, we're going to be together for 10 years, we're going to have 3 kids, and I'm basically going to tell you the plot of this show, and we're going to learn about everything through this cute date. There are cats making noises back there. That's hilarious. But I think the scene that I like the most, honestly, is when... hold on a second. So my favorite scene, I think, is the fight that they have, because it's like such a perfect representation of what it would be like to date a god. And he's just like, listen, we're gonna have a fight, There's nothing we can do about it. And she's like, we're not going to have a fight. We're going to be adults about this. And then 5 minutes later, they're having a fight. And she's like, oh, I hate this. And he's like, I know this is disruptive. I know you hate this, but like, you knew what you signed up for. Then he's like, actually, you have a good idea. Let's go do that. And then she goes and kidnaps a dead body. That's kind of, man.
Well, actually, this was before.
No, I know. I'm just, oh, I guess you're right.
Oh, this was after.
They're having the fight where he already is in the body.
That's true.
But this does lead to his conversation with Ozzy.
That's right. Oh, man. What a beautiful scene.
When we finally figure it out.
Yes.
So the anniversary cakes that he was getting this whole episode weren't from him launching the squid. They were from him being on Europa.
Yes.
This whole time.
Happy anniversary.
I think we kind of
we thought it was the squid.
Well, at the beginning we thought it was.
We did, but like we kind of caught on that like this is the years since he was abducted because we realized that the years were counting up to that number since his disappearance.
Yeah. But yeah, the scene with Ozzy is awesome. So he's been in his Antarctic
this whole time
bungalow, Karnak, for 25 years, just hanging out,
constantly doing the squids.
He's doing all the blips and blops to make the squids fall. So that means someone must be taking care of it now that he's gone, because it's not like it's an automated system.
Right.
He had to do a bunch of shit. So there must be something going on.
Or
Dr. Manhattan.
That was him the whole time.
No, I'm talking about like in 2019. It's still happening.
Yeah, but remember what our speculation is that when Lady True bought the house, the rocket was Ozzy.
Yes,
and he's back in Karnak doing the squid. Because remember,
oh no, I don't think he's in Karnak. I think that scene is a future scene we haven't seen yet.
Okay,
that's what I think. I could be wrong.
No, but she's saying they need the property to build the clock.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay, you're right.
And how many candles were on Ozzy's cake?
It was like 7 or 8. It was
7
like
or 8?
Yeah, because we're almost at the end.
It should have been 8.
Yeah, when he's
because I didn't catch it. I couldn't.
Oh, in the post-credit scene, our first post-credit scene.
Yeah, that was a trip.
Yeah. But yeah, the scene with Ozzy is really, really awesome because
I think he did just like set up an automated system.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but in between the time of like when Dr. Manhattan first shows up and when because there is a scene cut, and not to a different location, but time passes.
Oh, okay.
We don't follow them into his main study room.
Oh, like he probably did something.
He probably set something there.
That makes sense.
I think that there is something. I think that probably the system is automated and Ozzy just does that so he feels like he's doing something important.
Oh, of course. He's got to keep the status quo, he says.
Yeah, right? I can see that happening.
Yeah.
But the system can perfectly function without him being there.
Yeah.
It's just if he's not doing that, what is he even doing?
Yeah. I mean, he is the smartest man in the world, so he could probably just like flip a switch and it'll just like randomly drop on certain places.
Yeah. In the bar, Angela says that he has a very big imagination, right? Or is it the opposite?
Angela says that he does have a big imagination.
And then Dr. Manhattan laughs and says, "Oh, in 6 months, somebody will tell me I have a very small imagination."
One of my good friend will tell me that I have a very small imagination.
Yeah, he tried to kill me once.
And then he laughs about it on the other end.
Yeah.
I think that something this episode did really well that I think can be handled. We haven't really seen it on this kind of scale before, but you've seen similar content. Is the like predictive conversation where he says, "In 20 minutes, you're going to tell me how your parents died."
Yes.
When that does come around, it doesn't feel like we were, it didn't feel forced that we finally did bring that around to the conversation.
It was natural.
The conversation very naturally feels like it got to that point, and the way that she inserted it and brought it in didn't feel like on the nose of having to tell you and having to tell her that like, hey, you did it here. It felt like it was progressing the way that a conversation would.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Ozzy says like, "Oh, you have a very small imagination." He's like, "Oh, that's funny. I'm telling this girl that." And Ozzy guesses like, "So you come here looking like a dude. What's her name?" And he's like, "It's Angela." And Ozzy's like, "Oh, you old dog."
Yeah.
He's like, "You want my help for something, right?" You're into this disguise because she doesn't know you're Dr. Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I told her day one. This girl's a badass." And Ozzy's like, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, and then he tells him about Europa, because he's like, "Oh, weren't you on Mars?" He's like, "No, I was on Europa instead." He's like, "Oh, Europa, okay."
And Adrian knows that because a little elephant told him.
Oh, yeah.
And who's the elephant in the room? It's Lady True. They now have a connection. I think maybe my theory of Save Me Daughter might be more accurate. It
could be.
There's no real linkage.
I had a really... before I saw the D in when he escaped, originally I thought Lady True was... This is a really bad theory, but it is the one I had, and I was trying to figure out how it could make sense. Was that she was Eddie's daughter.
I saw that theory online as well.
She was the Lady True.
She somehow survived.
She somehow survived.
Yeah.
Her mom getting shot.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
I think that's a little less likely.
It is, but also Ozymandias. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So she would inherit her father's brains, since she is essentially the smartest woman in the world now.
Yeah.
She was able to do all this great stuff after she graduated MIT, like super young.
Yeah. So we're talking about Ozzy. I think the craziest theory online right now that I do not subscribe to is that Ozzy has been here the whole time and he's actually stuck in that golden statue that we saw in like episode 2. I don't believe that, but this show, nothing will surprise me if the millennium clock goes off and then he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, what have you done, daughter?" I wouldn't be surprised. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say no, but would you guys?
She does say, "Soon my father will be with me too."
So I'm wondering what that means.
And I'm also trying to figure out what that meteor drop was for.
Exactly.
Because that can't be Ozzy.
Yeah. Or was it Ozzy?
I don't know.
And the whole 8 or 9 years was actually still happening in the past.
So there is a weird thing happening now with numbers where we thought that the cakes, right? They've counted up to 8 years now that they were counting to modern day.
Yes.
But we know now that Ozzy disappeared 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've been lied to up to this point. We've been misdirected about how long Ozzy's been gone.
Yeah.
Lady True says he disappeared 8 years ago. Ozzy really disappeared 10 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So,
so
there's a year and a half-ish unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ozzy disappeared when Angela and Dr. Manhattan started seeing each other.
Yeah.
Because he takes
6 months after.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we still don't know exactly when in 2009 they met.
Yeah.
Right, but Lady True, but we do know that it was still 2009.
Yeah.
And Lady True said that he disappeared 8 years ago. I think Blake says it at one point too when she's talking to Petey.
Yeah.
So that's what the public knows as his disappearance date.
Mm-hmm. So while we're on,
but I think he's actually been gone that 10 years.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the cakes have been counting to 8 years. So if in the post-credit scene he successfully escaped, then that thing, the thing falling from space, that could have been a year and a half ago.
It still makes sense.
Because they did start killing that clock. Oh,
kitty cat stuff. Yeah.
Animals.
Yeah.
Animals.
But no, that might line up actually.
Yeah.
It might be Ozzy who fell, guys.
That
might be true.
It might.
Yeah.
It really might. But I don't think that him being in the statue doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, because what if that's how he was able to survive?
That's what I was going to say. Is that how he was able to get there?
Almost like a carbonite or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Because she how would she know what he looks like?
Doesn't put
right because she has that older statue of him.
I would not put it.
And I'm just like, man, that's the dumbest idea. But I've seen crazier ideas, and this show has done it. So there you go.
Somehow he gets from there back to Earth.
Yeah.
We only have one episode to cover that.
Yeah.
And there can't be that much time dedicated to how Ozzy gets out of Europa.
No, yeah.
So I kind of could buy that he fell in the statue a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just on a timer keeping himself alive or something.
Yeah, and then when the Millennium Clock goes off, that's when she wakes up Daddy, and then little 15-year-old mom and then old dad, their whole family's there. I'm like, what a great family. Bunch of crazy people.
Oh, the true family.
So, in the post-credit scene, which is not a regular scene, which I found kind of weird.
Yeah.
I thought it's cool, but this is the first time there's been
I feel like maybe a lot of people missed it.
Yes, I know a lot of people missed it because I saw Twitter.
Oh, really?
I saw Twitter.
Yeah.
But he's reading a book called I believe it's called Fog Racer or Fog Catcher. And that is a fake book written by the same guy who wrote The Black Freighter, right?
Oh.
So, thankfully, Dale Petey from Peteypedia has an entry on it about what he basically wrote a book report for the FBI or for the CIA or whatever. He's such a fanboy. But that book is about a detective and a doctor falling in love during a crazy event that happens in the world. Tell me if that sounds like a show you're not watching right now. And I'm just like, there's little details that you'll never know about, but Petey is there for you. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's a cool little touch. And how every fictional book
or some things will come around, like how we found out about the will for Will.
Yeah.
For Nelson Gardner?
Yeah, in this episode, which you brought up a while back because you were reading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think...
this is where the horseshoe came back into play.
Yes.
Since we're talking about the post-credits.
Yeah. So Ozzy gets locked up, and then the Game Master comes in, and...
So, does that mean that... and this is possible, is the Crookshanks that winked at him in the courtroom.
The first one?
The first one.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because like she seems
because
like
she was there when the other one, the Mr. Phillips, handed him the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that her like wink and nod? Because this, I think this must be her.
Yes.
Who put that in the cake because she winked at him in the courtroom.
I also think I think this whole trial and like punishment thing is almost like a ruse. I don't think anything bad is going to happen to him because they were made to be. They're almost like what's the Rick and Morty thing, Mr. Meeseeks?
Oh yeah.
They're like they will do anything to serve you, but I don't think they will actually be violent.
And the second, for Mr. Meeseeks, the second they complete their task, they blink out of existence.
Because like when they're shoving tomatoes on him, they're not doing it like super aggressively. They're like almost sad about it. So I think this is almost just like a ruse, like they have to do the due process, but they're really gonna save him or something. Because that's not why they were made. They're not like regular humans. At least that's what I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to think.
I don't know that we'll ever find that answer one way or another.
But I don't think they're gonna kill him. They're not gonna
like would they or wouldn't they? I think that there's a certain point where they would.
Yeah.
I think that something that is clear is that each Phillips and Crookshanks does not necessarily think the same way as the previous one.
Yeah.
Even though they are like carbon copies and the exact same kind of life forms, they don't think the same. Yeah. And I think if you have enough of them in a mob mentality of thinking negatively about him, like they totally could.
Probably.
I think that it would have to degenerate down a little bit, but like I think that definitely could happen down the road. I don't think we'll get there.
All right, so here's a great quote that I saw on the AV Club, talking about why, like, what does this mean? Like this whole journey of Adrian being this god, it's a representation of Dr. Manhattan. And here's something that the AV Club wrote. On that moon, Veidt found he ruled without impunity. Lives were so easy to create as visiting a lake and microwaving the infants for 30 seconds. Veidt's experience lined up precisely with Manhattan's. In the end, being worshipped left him hollow and feeling alone. But now they're obsessed with him. Their last god left them, so they will not lose another. He could stay, but he isn't allowed to leave. The message wrote, "Help me D," was for Dr. Manhattan. So that's also a good theory that it is for Dr. Manhattan, but I think that spy satellite being there, I think it's supposed to be for True. Yeah. I don't think they would show that satellite. It's not a Dr. Manhattan satellite. It's a true satellite. So I think she's going to be the one to save him.
And also she's the one. And also Lady True knows that Dr. Manhattan wasn't on Mars for the longest time.
Also, as far as Adrian Veidt knows, Dr. Manhattan wouldn't even know what to do because he's Cal.
So the 7th Cavalry knows that Cal's Dr. Manhattan because of the White Knight. Because his defenses went off.
Yeah,
I think
he when Angela's about to get shot.
Yes, because how would they know?
He killed one of the. I don't think they know I don't think they knew he was Dark. Oh, actually, no, they did.
No, they have to know. They showed the house.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that I saw. So Dr. Manhattan gets shot, or Cal gets shot, and that awakens his Dr. Manhattanness, and immediately blows up all the dudes inside. And a bunch of dudes outside were like, "Holy shit! Did we see a bunch of blue electricity or something? We got to go tell Mr. Joking Jr." So I think that's how they found out. Unless, again, the theory that Lady True knew it, and then she told them. So like, oh, I got to stop the bad guys from doing this to Dr. Manhattan.
But Lady True said that the plan for the 7th Cavalry was for them to essentially kill John and make Joe Keane the next Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, man.
And I don't think she wants that to happen.
No, she doesn't want it to happen. That's why she's the good guy, but she's allowing it to happen. So there's a reason for her to again. It's like Goku in Hit, like doing his own assassination on himself. Like, oh no, it's as bad. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Okay, yeah. She's letting this bad thing happen, so she's the good guy, basically. And they're using like her portal technology. Because again, how do a bunch of rednecks get portal technology?
They steal it.
They steal it, but Lady True knows about it. She didn't do anything about it. I think she's letting something bad happen to let something greater happen with the Millennium Clock.
So essentially, Adrian. She's doing the same thing. Theoretically, her dad did. Let 3 million people die. Save 5 billion.
Yes, but I don't think it's murder on her mind. I think it's a mass brain trauma.
Essentially, let one person die or let 2 people die. Because I'm assuming that Joe Keane, he's going to step into the eccentric field and he's going to die. So something's gonna go horribly wrong and he dies.
So no, I think because we see him in the preview for next episode. We see him like naked, ready to become Dr. Manhattan. So I think what the plan, what Lady True said was they're gonna capture Dr. Manhattan, they're gonna give Joe Keane his powers, and then they're gonna kill him.
Okay.
I think that's what's supposed to happen. But okay, another crazy theory I saw. Dr. Manhattan said he might be able to put his powers into something that if somebody eats, it gives them powers. Do you guys remember him saying something like
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cal makes waffles for his kids every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a theory online that maybe the kids somehow have some of his residual power, and like they're not, and because he waved them away, and I'm like, that's a very interesting to do, is to wave them somewhere that he doesn't tell his own wife to. So I think.
Well, no, he waves them to a theater with their grandfather.
Exactly.
Who was
Yeah.
waiting for
Exactly.
them.
Thank you. That's also very odd because at this point, like, he's still like the bad guy. Will is. So Dr. Manhattan clearly trusts Will, and he knows he's on the up and up because Will was talking to Dr. Manhattan, and Angela asked him about Judd, and then he's like, "Who's Judd?" So Angela gave him the idea about Judd, and it's very cyclical. It's a big cycle. I think it's really wacky, and I love it. I love it so much.
It's so good.
Yeah.
The show is so good.
Yes.
Like, even when Dr. Manhattan is talking to Will in, like, 10 years ago, and she's like, ask him about Judd. Hey, what's the thing about Judd? He's like, who's Judd?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, oh, shit, no!
Yeah, it's like, now we know this is the reason the whole show's happening. It's because Angela married a god.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what you gotta do.
Yep.
Yep.
And also, one little thing, I love how Jeremy Irons is actually this whole cast. Who's the guy who's playing Cal and Slash?
Oh man, he's got a long name.
I know.
Remember.
I
Yeah.
cannot pronounce his name to save my life, but he's the same guy who played Black Manta and Aquaman.
Yes.
He is. I'm so happy he was Dr. Manhattan for this whole episode.
Yeah.
And I also love how Angela, like, you still have his face.
Yeah.
And just him.
I think that's a part of me because like he secretly likes it, and it's like it's instinctual to be like, oh, I'm gonna still look like the guy that I like.
Yeah.
So real quick, another theory.
Yahya Abdul Mateen the second.
Okay.
That's an awesome name. So I do not believe this because I think Dr. Manhattan is not this cruel. There is a There is a small theory that Dr. Manhattan is the reason that that Cal was actually killed, because she says that Cal died out of nowhere mysteriously. You remember, like, when she opens up the gurney thing, and he's like, yeah, he just dropped dead out of nowhere. And, like, people are like, oh, did Dr. Manhattan kill him? Because this has to happen.
He had a heart attack, didn't he?
No, they didn't say that. They said he dropped dead mysteriously.
Right.
It wasn't a heart attack. And, like, because it's, like, in Vietnam, it's like they're not going to do the proper paperwork or whatever. But, they specifically didn't say heart attack, and I don't believe this theory, because I don't think Dr. Manhattan's that cruel. But, like, the idea that, Cal has to die, so I'm the one who kills him, goes on to the theory that Dr. Manhattan also maybe killed June, his grandmother. And I do not believe that either, because those things have to happen, doesn't mean Dr. Manhattan did it.
I don't think he did it.
But a part of me is like, yo, that's sinister.
That is.
But it has to happen.
You know what? I'm with you.
I don't believe it, but it's bonkers.
I don't know if I believe the June one.
Yeah.
But I might be able to believe
The Cal one?
The Cal one.
That one's a little more reasonable.
Because if he saw that Angela, because he already knows that Angela would prefer the form that's not the one that she's already shown him.
Yep.
Because he says, unless there's one you're keeping from me, which obviously, because he can see ahead, he knows there is.
Yeah.
So, by the same logic of everything else that he's done, he could have facilitated to make sure that thing is there because he knows that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes. Again, like, this could be at a point where he's not, like, he's still, like, working on his emotions, but, like, I could buy it. I could buy, like, oh, this is for the greater good.
He's not...
The greater good.
He's not a moral being. He's beyond morals.
Yes.
Like we're just... Everyone's just fortunate that he more or less is in a good place.
Yeah.
Because it's not about morality to him. Morality isn't important, isn't a factor.
But he still has them. He is still a human at the end of the day, because that's what Ozzy says. Like, that's what he relied on, is your morality.
Right.
Which he does have, even the slightest bit. That's what he's fighting for.
But he's not a slave to it.
No.
He's a slave to whatever
He's a slave to time.
To whatever the time says that it is.
Yeah. He's the anti-Doctor Who. He can't change things. Ever.
Guys, I love this show so much.
Yeah.
The show's so good.
There's a really interesting thing about Dr. Manhattan, like a god wanting to become a regular person, and then Joe Keane wanting to become a god. There's like a lot of parallels there that I really like. There's a lot of layers in this show that I wish every episode I do more research on, because there's like, really everything is so meticulously detailed. Also miraculously.
Yeah.
Because that's what Dr. Manhattan's all about, is miracles. About the show that I just really love. And I never thought I'd see a Dr. Manhattan-centric episode that is like truly like heartwarming and like, oh, this is somebody who does love, just not in the way you think he does. I think it's a really cool look into not a human being's relationship. I think it's awesome.
So he and Will had more of a plan that we don't get to see.
Yes, I think it's still happening. And we'll find out in the final episode, unfortunately. And I do like it says the season finale. It didn't say series finale.
It did.
So just like I know.
Do you imagine that he has Will seek out Lady True? Because he knows.
Yes.
He knows what will happen.
He must know about the Millennium Clock. He has to know about it because he knows everything. So I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's like, you need to get in contact with this really rich lady because she's important to the world.
Yeah.
Also Adrian, possibly.
Yeah.
That's a good thought. Yeah, probably.
I mean, like there have to be some more bridging pieces that brought all these together, and in some ways you realize that everything's been orchestrated, maybe in some ways unintentionally, by Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, it's super sad. Like at the end of this episode, he's like he blows up a dozen dudes' heads.
Oh yeah, Angela gets in a firefight with 7th Cavalry.
They're ready to come capture Dr. Mac.
They're ready to come get him, and she's like in a full-on firefight, and then he just pops up and just like does his famous hand-waving thing, and just bunch of heads just start popping I start going.
It reminds me of because Dr. Manhattan kind of does the same thing in the book and in the movie, but the Vietnam stuff, he's like, I was doing what I thought people wanted me to be. Like he was just he was doing what he just wanted to make people happy, and because he doesn't know what makes people happy, so he's like, oh, go take over this country. He's like,
he just wanted to build something beautiful.
He wanted to build something beautiful, and he did it in a really bad way.
Yeah, and his mural got big dog all to hell.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, man. You were just talking about something. I'm sorry.
What was I talking about?
I don't remember. I interrupted.
Oh yeah, when I was talking about the actors' performances, and also
the head blowing up. That's right.
Yeah, well, the head blowing up, but also before that, my point was I love how Jeremy Irons has played Ozymandias.
Oh yeah.
This whole series, and one of my favorite lines is when he's sitting there, he's like, that was Plan B when he was referring to Watchmen when
Squid.
When he put him in the intrinsic.
Oh, sorry.
He was like, Plan B to blow you up.
Yeah.
Glad you survived. So this was Plan A, amnesia.
Yeah, and he pulls out a little box, and Dr. Manhattan's like, oh, I don't know what's in there. This is an odd feeling. And he's like, yeah, I blasted it with tachyons and shit. And I'm like, of course it was tachyons.
Of course.
That's awesome.
If it's anything, it's always tachyons.
Yeah, he opens a little box, and it's a little hydrogen symbol or whatever. And it's like, this is an amnesia thing. Just put it in your head, and you'll be a human boy.
Oh, so one thing I did notice, this is actually from an episode back. When Laurie Blake is inside the Cyclops and she meets Joe Keane after he's doing his whole sinister plan, there's a shot of Laurie in front of a Cyclops mural. Did you notice, because I'm pretty sure I'm a little late to the party on this one, but did you guys notice how the outside of the Cyclops was also a hydrogen symbol?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, there's a black ring around the eye, and there's a little tiny dot above the top of the circle.
Okay.
So it's like a hydrogen symbol.
So it's
the main eye, the Cyclops eye, is still in the middle. That's the focal point. But if you look up, you'll see the black ring and the hydrogen symbol.
I'm gonna give it a Googs after this. Nice.
I don't know if that means anything. I don't know.
Well, I think all it's really a hint to is the fact that it was for eagle-eyed people. Hey, Dr. Manhattan's coming, but it's also just a hint, a reference to the fact that their intention is to become Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
So Laurie Blake.
I don't think Dr. Manhattan's connected to Cyclops.
I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. Because obviously Cyclops was a racist organization and a Ku Klux Klan faction in the 1930s.
But even this new version, I think it's entirely just based on the idea. So I have a question. If hypothetically Joe King Jr. or any of them do become like Dr. Manhattan, do you think they'd even be able to be who they are?
I saw an idea of what if Joe gets his powers and his brain immediately just explodes from power? And I'm like, his knowledge was power!
I have a feeling that if Joe does get... It's going to be a similar scene to when Lex Luthor gets Superman's powers at the end of All-Star Superman. You know how when Lex Luthor, after he obviously has a super strength and everything, at the end of the very end of the book before Superman dies... spoilers for a 15-year-old book. And he, Lex Luthor is looking at everything, much more differently. The scientist in him kicks in. He's like, oh my god, I wasted all my potential. This is horrible. I feel that if it's going to be like that. If Joe Keane does become the next Dr. Manhattan, he's going to be able to see things so clearly for the first time that maybe obviously he's not a scientist, but he'll be like, oh my god, I could do so much to help. So I could do so much, or he dies. Like the process itself murders him.
Yeah.
My point being, like, his perspective on what he's after can't remain the same if he truly becomes like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like you guys, we had this like white people plan. Oh, I'm way above that now. This is stupid.
Right.
I would like to think, like, that seems like the thing to do, because like Dr. Manhattan, once you achieve omnipotence, like, you're not really human anymore. But a part of me is like, maybe it's like The Mask, where like it is like it like highlights certain things about you. So like if you're a jerk, then you'll stay a jerk.
Like when the antagonist puts the mask on and he's like all evil and gross, and then when Jim Carrey puts it on, it's all fun and happy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not to that extent, but like I don't think it'll be a complete like wash of full character.
Good callback, man.
Yeah, to the mask.
Yeah, to the mask.
I mean, like, I don't think it. I agree. Like, I don't think it'll change like everything, but John was not a perfectly good person.
No.
We know this.
Yeah.
John did not hold to the same, like, patterns of life once he became Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
New priorities and new ways of thinking and looking at things and new ways of social behavior and engaging with others. Because, and a key thing that I think is, I don't think race can matter in your eyes anymore if you become like Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, I think
that becomes trivial.
Yeah, of course.
So that can no longer be a driving force for him. And Joe King, if he had that power, would have to reassess his own existence. And not to mention, like, he would see the long term where it's all heading. Yeah. And I doubt that it would go necessarily in the direction he wanted. And in a way, just as John can't, he can't seem to fight what he sees as inevitability. Yeah. So I think that would have to realign in some way. What I find far more likely, what I think will happen, is that they are incapable of recreating the experiment.
Yeah.
I think they're just incapable of doing it. I think Dr. Manhattan knows they're incapable too.
Also, the point, me bringing up the eating food thing is, again, because it might be Dr. Manhattan realizes he has to give up a part of him, so instead of like him killing himself, he will give a part of himself, so maybe he can get it out and still kill him afterwards or something. Like, he can ingest just enough to make him happy and go like, oh, let me out, Joe, and I can help you more or whatever. We can actually be allies or something.
Because he was making... I do love the line where he's like walking around, he's like, I'm hungry, just bamfs into the kitchen, and he's like standing like this going, I'm making waffles, watch the eggs, and then Angela just takes the eggs and goes, no, screw your eggs.
Yeah, eggs have been a big thing in, not every episode, but in a lot of episodes.
But this episode it was a big thing.
Yes,
because he makes an egg for her in the bar, and she's like, what's that? It's life.
Chicken or egg.
Technically.
Yeah. I still think the like, I say like my favorite scene is like every scene basically, but this is the moment I fall in love with you, as she's arming up to go take on dozens of cavalry members, and she's like, I have to go save your ass because you're not going to do anything about it, and he's just like, oh, woe is me, I guess.
I think in many ways Dr. Manhattan is designed through Lindelof's intention of the show to be the answer to the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? And Dr. Manhattan is the answer, and the answer is both.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he can be both at the exact same time. And that's kind of what the whole episode shows, is that like the question becomes irrelevant when you're dealing with someone who can be both.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Manhattan, what do you think? You think Dr. Manhattan's dead?
No, they're transporting him to the field, and then they're going.
Because I've seen a lot of people think that he's dead.
No, they are specifically like, it's a tachyon like portal gun basically. No, he's being transported.
Yeah. Now you're thinking with portals.
Yes. Yeah. It's super interesting. So he's gonna get this is what I love. So he's gonna get transported to this intrinsic field, and he's sitting right in front of him, trapped in a chair.
Lori,
it's his ex-girlfriend, who hasn't seen in like 25 years.
Nope.
That's gonna be a dope conversation.
Close to 30 years if you think about it. Actually, over 30 years.
Well, no, it happened in
1985
no,
to 2019.
Right. No,
now that was 30 plus years ago.
I'm thinking of 2009. Yeah, it's 25. Okay. Yeah, man, that's gonna be a really interesting conversation, because he's gonna like portal in like, I'm in pain, Lori, what?
Except on some level, John knows.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
So he's like surprised.
He's just gonna pop in and
like, forgetting. My whole thing is that I don't think John stood where he stood without knowing what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think John is concerned about it, because the thing is, like, if John didn't know exactly how that was about to play out, when he put the kids away, he would have put Angela away too.
True. Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
So John knew.
You have to let
John
things happen.
knew exactly what Angela was going to do. He knew exactly who was going to show up. He knew exactly who he was going to kill, and he knew he was going to miss the one guy because he knew this had to happen. Because he knew that they needed to run the experiment because it's the only way to dissuade them from trying to do this.
It's the same
because it's probably going to fail.
Back when Dr. Manhattan and the comedian conquered Vietnam and Eddie shot that girl, Dr. Manhattan let it happen because it has to happen.
Yeah, and he's like...
He can't be a hero. Like, it's like really weird.
No, just the... You know what Dr. Manhattan is? He's like the biggest spoiler tag.
Yeah.
Well, it's so weird because he is a antithesis of the idea of choice and of multiple possibilities. He lives by a defined, there is one path.
Like, he is the...
and it's the path that I've already chosen. My choices are already made and I'm just living them.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there will be a point where they'll explore, maybe through whatever is about to happen in the show, maybe through having spent the time as Cal that he did, that Dr. Manhattan suddenly can make choice.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
I think Regina King's act... Well, I mean, she's good in every episode, but specifically when Cal's, like, really confused and he's just teleporting around, she's just like, what the... Get out of the pool! Like, what are you doing with the kids? And she's just like, ah, shit, get out of there! I'm just like, she's so funny, because Cal's just like, he's just doing his own thing. He's like, why are you on the pool? I have to be on the pool. Get out of the pool! I was like, I love it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, he's walking on the pool like Jesus.
I need you to see me like this while this is happening,
Yeah. Mommy, there's a blue man on the pool. That's pretty good.
On the pool, not in the pool, on the pool.
Just going back to Oz real quick, because we didn't talk about, like, the moment he's teleported. Like, he's sobbing, because he's he saved the world, and nobody knows about it. And he just wants to be loved. That's really, he's like, I want to be a hero that I was promised I was going to be. And he's like, I made a place on Europa where people love people like you. And he's just like, please, John, take me there. And I'm like, this is a really sweet scene. And then we realize it's not a paradise, it's a prison.
Yeah.
It's outstanding.
With Ozymandias?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Just everything about the show is so good.
Yeah.
I'm, like, really bummed that it's ending, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to know what happens.
Yo, man.
Give me that final issue now, please.
Yes. It's funny enough, all of Watchmen will have come out between issues 11 and 12 of Doomsday Clock. All of them. All 9, and that's 9 weeks, baby. Comic books are great, guys. Support your local comic book shop.
Well, I mean, regardless of, like, the delays of Doomsday Clock, that's probably how it would have worked out either way. Roughly. Like, maybe not in between just 2 issues, but, like, that was a monthly release schedule, so, like, my point just being, like, regardless of the delay schedule of Doomsday Clock, it would have come out between just 1 or 2 issues.
No, I know. I just think it's funny. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. It would have been 3 or 4 months,
How long has Doomsday Clock been coming out for?
Out for
3 years?
Yeah,
3 years.
November 20... Yeah. I rag on it because I love it. Yeah. So, do you have anything else to say on this magnificent crescendo of time?
It was fantastic.
Let me look at my notes.
Just the whole episode, the way it was filmed and shot, how the whole thing took place, essentially... As the last scene before John got zapped away in the field or whatever was, I want to say it was Angela finally saying, you know what, F it, fine, I'll have dinner with you tomorrow night.
Oh, that was a final one. Yeah.
That was the final scene, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Of the episode, just him, because the whole night Angela's saying, no, I'm not gonna have dinner with you tomorrow night. No, I'm not gonna have dinner with you tomorrow night. Stop saying we're gonna have dinner. I'm not gonna have dinner with you. And then at the very last minute, she's like, you know, fine, screw it, whatever. And one more thing, they never show his face before Cal.
Yeah, they do show it, but it's blurry on Europa, which is
You're
nice.
right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But it's in the background, so like, they blur it out, of course.
Because they don't want it to not be Cal.
Yeah.
Letting Cal, the actor, play the part.
Yeah, just like the Minutemen as well.
And so they don't want to have to show a different face for him.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally fine with, and I'm okay.
It's also why they don't show the eyes, because he's not doing his white glow eyes, but they also can't be Cal's eyes, so they don't show his eyes.
Yeah.
Man, when he shows up in his full glow later, I was like, give me them white glow eyes, baby.
Yeah. Even when he turns the glow off, and it's like the actor, it's Cal's regular eyes, and he's just like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, and then he glows again. It's like, oh, that's so cool, and it looks so good.
Yeah, HBO's got money, baby.
Yeah, they got. I mean, Game of Thrones is an indication that they got some money.
Yeah. So will that do it for us, Sparks? Winnie? Got anything else? You got the book I sent you?
I'm trying to think if I've got anything. Like, I think the episode overall is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything I want to throw out there before, like, all our questions, for the most part, are answered.
There was no Lady True stuff.
No Lady True stuff.
Yeah, it was just those two guys.
It was only Angela, Manhattan, and a little bit of Ozzy.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
No, I'm trying to think back on, like, other things.
Oh, yeah.
Should, like, what am I anticipating?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, it sucked in air. So this makes me want to rewatch the whole show, because if Angela knew the entire time, also Will knew the entire time. So from episode 1, everyone's lying.
Oh,
everyone's lying.
Oh, like the first interaction between the two of them in episode 2. She's like, maybe I'm Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan can't look like regular people. Yeah, you
both
know.
Oh,
you know.
You lying girl.
But they don't know that the other knows.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun rewatch.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know there's probably lines that she throws out where I'm like, oh, that's you slipping a little.
I think by episode 2, I already, like, mentally already just bought this on Blu-ray.
Yeah. And, dude, the amount of people who called Cal being Dr. Manhattan after, like, two or three episodes was insane. And I'm like, what clues are you getting? I'm just like, oh, he had an accident. Nobody knows anything about him. He's kind of hanging in the background. I'm like, I don't buy it. And then, hammer.
Surprise! It's him.
Full-blown amnesia. That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
I'm ready to find out who Lube Man is.
Yeah,
Where's Petey?
Yeah. Where the heck happened to Lube Man?
He's gone forever. If Petey's gonna show up, he has to show up next week. But
He has to show up as Lube Man.
I
want to know who Lube Man is.
I think it'd actually be funnier if we never hear from Lube Man again. Because then he's the mystery. He's the new Hooded Justice.
The greatest...
That's season 2.
That's season 2.
The greatest mystery of Watchmen. Who is Lube Man?
It's gonna be American hero story Lube Man.
I know who Lube Man is. It's her.
The show's coming out late in the year, so I understand this, but it's still unfortunate that Watchmen got completely snubbed at the Golden Globes.
Oh.
I wasn't sure if that was a thing where it was too late or like
technically it wasn't.
Oh, really?
I understand that like not a lot of people probably considered it because it was close.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Does this mean that next year it's not going to be nominated at all?
Not for Golden Globes. Emmys are still on the table.
Get out of here, Golden Globes. I don't like you anyway.
Yeah, but aren't the Golden Globes just kind of like...
That's where the celebrities get drunk and hang out with their friends.
Yeah. Don't like...
Emmys
from my understanding, like that's where we're at with Golden Globes. Emmys still... I'm sure Watchmen will get something when the Emmys come around. But Golden Globes snubbed Watchmen.
No, if the Emmys do not nominate Watchmen for a whole bunch of categories, the big one being show... or what's the big one? Show of the year?
Yeah, like Best Show of the Year.
Yeah, Best Show. If that's not nominated for Best Show, I'm going to be mad.
I'll tell you what, Regina King won an Oscar last year. Or, excuse me, this year.
For what?
For a movie none of us have seen.
Okay.
For If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And so people are hot on...
That was her Oscar win.
Nice. That was... she's on people's radars right now.
I'm pretty sure she's also won an Emmy for her performance on Southland just a couple years ago.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I follow her on Twitter.
Regina King gets award attention. So.
Yeah. She posted this on Twitter. Like, it's a clip from her in Southland and a clip of her Watchmen, and they're both running. And she's like, "Bitch, I've been training for this my whole life." And just her constantly running. And I'm like, "It's funny."
I assume when she's running after Lube Man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably. But if Watchmen does not get nominated, as of now, my vote is the winner. Like, it's the best show of the year.
To be fair, we don't watch as much.
I know we don't watch as much big TV, but I can't think of any show on right now that could compete with Watchmen. The only one is Chernobyl, and and as I established last week, I haven't seen it yet.
There it is. Logan. It reminds me of like Logan. Like Logan, like transcends it being a comic book movie, right?
Right.
And that kind of got snubbed a lot too. So
I
wouldn't be shocked if.
Which makes sense because Watchmen transcends being a graphic novel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel the Emmys are a little more lenient when it comes to...
Well, they love Game of Thrones, so
exactly.
Like, they're fine.
Because if they're okay with a fantasy show,
yeah.
Although the Oscars were cool with the Lord of the Rings.
No, that's the thing. Like, sometimes they break through.
Yeah.
It's just like, it has to be right place, right time.
But yeah, if the Emmys are okay with the Game of Thrones winning a whole bunch of awards, which, to be honest, it probably shouldn't have won the last one, but that's not...
That's so silly.
That's a different argument for that time.
I'll put something this way. I feel like The Boys had a shot to be nominated for something. Not necessarily win, but nominated for something. And I think Watchmen might have just blown it out of the water.
Oh, yeah. The Boys. That's another show, guys.
Yeah.
Did The Boys get anything for Golden Globes?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think, and I love that show, but I think Watchmen is bleeps about that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, I was thinking that the actor playing Homelander could get a nomination.
Oh yeah,
he's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, he should.
I think he should. I don't know that he'll win, but I think he should get a nomination for it.
At least a nom. At least.
I think there's a high chance of that because The Boys did make a big splash.
Do the Emmys do streaming shows now, or do they change, or do they still stick if it wasn't aired, it doesn't count? Because I know that was an argument for a while. Oh wait, no. A few years ago, Kevin Spacey was nominated for House of Cards.
Oh no,
yeah. Never mind.
Yeah, streaming shows definitely count. Like Stranger Things has won stuff too. So.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm wrong.
They're not like the Oscars.
I'm wrong. Never mind.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this last episode shake out.
I hope Dr. Manhattan doesn't die. That's my only thing.
I hope he doesn't, but if he does...
It's going to be good for story reasons. I'm just I want more of it. It's so good.
Because he does say the relationship ends tragically.
Yes.
And the tragedy could be him dying.
I was thinking the tragedy would be Angela dying.
I don't think she's going to die.
See, because I could totally imagine season 2 being its own separate.
I'm gonna say that I think that there's a decent chance Angela dies.
Yeah, okay.
Because the whole thing is that Damon Lindelof has said these things in particular. This season is entirely based. He said this very recently. The season's based around Angela. So when we were talking about how to incorporate characters from the comic, they all had to serve the need of Angela's story, which is what led to us making the decision for Dr. Manhattan to have a relationship with her, because otherwise Dr. Manhattan can't be part of the story.
Yeah.
Because it has to serve her story. He's also said, right from the get-go, this is a standalone story. And what comes next will be another standalone story, which means, to my opinion, I do not think it's going to be about Angela.
I imagine it'll be like a Fargo or a True Detective situation.
Oh, yeah.
Where a completely new setup, like, same type of world, just completely different location.
And then...
I don't know that we'll go completely different location. I think we're going to get more crossover characters. I think we might, more characters will continue on than we did anticipate, but I do not think Angela, being the centerpiece of this one, will continue on.
I imagine, if I were making the show, which I really wish I was, season 2 would be like what's happening in Chicago 15 years ago, and Night Owl shows up, and that's how he gets to prison. Like, you keep introducing the original characters like Hooded Justice.
Would be season 2.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So, just again, like a Fargo, like it takes place in a different place, but like things can still be interconnected and have the Watchmen stuff because everything's connected and nothing ever ends.
Right.
I think that'd be fun. Almost like an anthology show.
But I agree with Ryan. I think there's a very decent chance that Angela doesn't come out of
Yes, because it's not like Dr. Manhattan's going to tell her that she's going to die.
Yeah.
And I as much as the 7th Cavalry has been good bad guys, like they seem to have their shit together, I have a feeling Dr. Manhattan is still real strong, and I feel like there's stuff we haven't seen yet where it's like, what if their whole plan just fails completely?
But I will say that I think there is a possibility where both of them survive this, but their relationship ends here.
Yeah.
Because I think Angela can't go on past this moment.
The stuff with her grandfather and wherever
everything that Dr. Manhattan had to do up to this point has put her in a place where this now is not something she can abide anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what it is that she'll say, well, she can, but only if he forgets again.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Dr. Manhattan is in a place where he'll be willing to do that.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll be like, I would love to try this thing again, but I realize that I have to be me. I can't be a hollow version of
because
myself.
Of something that's about to happen.
If he survives.
It's almost like the world needs Dr. Manhattan.
Right, I'm talking about hypothetical where they both make it out because it still would have to be a tragedy for their relationship.
I mean, it doesn't have to mean death. It just mean the end of the relationship. Yeah.
But I do think there's a good chance that Angela doesn't.
I think it would be
survive this.
And it's not on like HBO to like kill off major characters and make us sad. Like it would be really sad and tragic if it's like Dr. Manhattan holding her dead body and be like, I knew this was gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Because who do I think will make it out of this? Almost guaranteed. I think Lady True. I think Laurie Blake, Ozymandias, Petey. I think even Wade.
Yeah.
Will all make it out of this. But Angela, I could totally see not.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's how I kind of see it. But you know what? Everyone could live except for Loop Man. What if Loop Man's the savior of the day? We'll find out next week's episode of Watchmen.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it.
That'll do it.
That was what a terrific, fun. I love this show so much. Let me tell you.
It's a really good show.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, Sparks, why don't you do the rigmarole?
All right, we're all part of the Fake Nerd podcast. We do that wherever you can listen to podcasts, and we do that with our friend Brandon T. McClure, where we talk about all kinds of nerd stuff. We're getting near the end of the year, so we're doing a lot of our wrap-up content. We have a Star Wars retrospective episode we did with Downright Nerdy that's about to drop. We just recently did a review of Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember for some reason.
Knives Out's a good movie.
So you can check out that stuff. We're slowly updating the YouTube page. I think kind of at this point my intention is to update it a lot when we take a break for the holidays. Because school.
Yeah.
And
Finals.
we're also doing Basement Arcade. These guys are still playing through Sonic Mania and those other things. We're, like I said, just check out our content because we're winding down. We're getting... in Mandalorian, that'll drop next week.
Hey, Mando!
Where we talk 2 more episodes of The Mandalorian with Brandon. Here on Fake Nerds Watch, we're also going to get Dark Crystal out
Eventually.
once Watchmen's over.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. We're not doing it this week, so
No,
once
we're not.
Watchmen's over,
Yeah.
we'll return to Dark Crystal. Maybe that'll be like a nice big Christmas surprise.
A New Year's Day.
Slam
fun
them all
day.
out and just be like, here's the rest of Dark Crystal.
Come on and slay 'em.
Good lord, maybe. I don't know.
Wow.
Alright, but other than that, I am Sparkswitty. You can find me at Sparkswitty on Instagram and Twitter. Ryan?
I'm DJ Tony Snark at everything. Ben?
You can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27.
Alright, yeah, that'll do it. We are, like I said, getting that Star Wars retrospective out soon. We're also announcing our giveaway right now. By the time you're watching this, so go ahead and check that out on our Instagram,
Big
our social
giveaway.
media pages. It's a big Star Wars giveaway, and you can take part in that. It's going to be open for a little while, so just jump on in. And other than
Real
that,
quick, there's something I forgot that I thought was really cute. A song starts playing at the bar, and Dr. Manhattan's like, "Oh, it's your favorite song," and Angela's like, "Oh, I've never heard this song in my life."
That's
and
right.
she's like, and he's like, "It's gonna be your favorite song soon." And I'm like, "That's so romantic. I love it." That's all. Goodbye.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. See you for the finale of Watchmen next week, and stay fake nerds.
I did a Cyclops symbol, but I wanted to do the Dr. Manhattan symbol. I'm sorry.